Only hours after we posted yesterday's news video on 64-bit apps coming to Surface Pro X, Panos Panay was back at it again with another newsworthy announcement from Surface. The Surface Laptop Go was released, and a new updated version of the Surface Pro X was announced, called the Surface Pro X. Well, that's confusing. So first, the thing that I'm most interested in is the new Surface Pro X. Now, it looks pretty much identical to the current Pro X, but with the new SQ2 processor. There's also some higher RAM and SSD options. You can now get the Pro X with a 512 gig SSD, removable by the way, and also up to 16 gigabytes of RAM. All models still come with that gigabit capable 4G LTE advanced connectivity. Now, it's not really clear what the SQ2 processor brings to the table at this stage, but there's certainly talk of better battery life. My 10-month review of the Surface Pro X will release on Wednesday, Australian time. That's Tuesday for Europe and North America because we're from the future. And in it, I've observed far better battery life for things like video calling from the Pro X. So it's not surprising to me that they're claiming 15 hours of battery life from what looks like a fairly average workload. With the upcoming support for x64 apps, this device sure looks interesting. By the way, yesterday's announcement on support for 64-bit Intel apps does not make all of the compatibility issues of Windows on ARM disappear. I still won't be able to run the Dropbox Sync client, for example. That's unless Dropbox release a version of that software that's made for ARM 64-bit. Any other software that directly interfaces with the OS like this is in the same boat. So it's getting there, but it's not all roses. Oh, and one more thing, the Surface Pro X now comes in platinum. So hopefully that'll be a little bit less fingerprinty than the black version. And you can now get the Pro X keyboards in colors too. So I can finally color match my Pro X to the Pro 7 to the Go 2. The pen is still only available in black though. Now onto the Surface Laptop Go. You know I'm not a fan of laptops in general, right? I've said before that laptops were cool in the 90s. And if you haven't started using a pen on your computer in 2020, then it's time to start now. A pen is not an artist's domain. It's a thinking tool. And that tool should be for everyone. Keyboard is a communications tool, so it's important. But if you need to think, whether it's at school, at home, or at work, then you need to ink. And even though this new Surface laptop probably supports the Surface Pen just like the other Surface laptops do, it really doesn't do inking any justice. So my extremist view is that we don't need any more keyboard warriors in the world. People who are not thinking clearly because they only type. There, I've said it. But this Surface Laptop Go, it's nice, and it's cheaper than all of the other Surfaces, even the Surface Go 2. It's got an Intel Core i5 as a minimum, so it's probably powerful enough. But the base spec only includes a 64GB eMMC storage option, which is probably not the best. So you really need to look at the higher specs if you want a long-term usable device. In a departure for Surface, the Laptop Go does not have a Windows Hello camera built in, which is pretty disappointing. The higher spec models do have a fingerprint reader on the power button, which is a nice touch. But that means that there are now Surface models on the market that don't have any Windows Hello login options built in at all. We haven't seen that since the Surface 3. The webcam is only 720p, unlike the 1080p webcams in all of the other current Surface models. But it should still be a fairly good webcam. A big plus for the Laptop Go is the inclusion of the studio mic setup that we see on all of the other models. So this will be a great device for video calls, even with that slightly lower spec camera. Like the Surface Go, the Surface Laptop Go models that you buy at retail will ship with Windows 10 S Mode activated. That means that you can only download apps from the Microsoft Store. And that means that once this thing hits the shelf, I'm going to get a whole lot more questions on the channel, like, how do I get Zoom on my Surface? Now, I get the idea of S Mode, but unless Microsoft can get companies like Zoom to use the store, and they haven't been able to do it to date, well, it's just another complication. And for me, a PC is a device that can do anything that I want without limitations. But that definition is not supported by either of these releases today. Fortunately, with the Surface Laptop Go, you can switch out of S Mode once you know what it is. Surface for Business models of the Surface Laptop Go and the Surface Go don't come with S Mode, they come with full Windows installed out of the box. So that's the news of the day, 2 days in a row. Thanks for watching. And if you want to see our reviews of these products And even more importantly, if you want to learn how to use these products well, then make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit that bell so that you get notified when we release our videos every Wednesday from the future. It brings much performance to the table, and I got it wrong. Capable 4GL, damn it. Gigabit capable 4G, 4, that's, oh, come on. Because we're from the future, and in it,